Hi guys, welcome to the Perform by Draft League. Oh, fuck. Okay, hi guys. Sorry for the second take, but welcome to the Bemani Pro League Season 2 draft discussion. We recently just had the Season 2 draft for Dance Dance Revolution, which is the last game that's going to appear for Season 2 before we move on to Season 3, which will begin with BMania 2DX as usual. I'm of course Southside, and joined with me are the two guys below me. One might be familiar from my old BPL streams. First will be Hiko, my friend. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, for those of you who remember me, I'm Hiko. I was co-commentaries for the 2DX portion of the Bemani Pro League, and I've been honored by Southside to be invited once again to hopefully co-cast this runs of BPL for Dance Dance Revolution this time. I'm looking forward for a good competition. I'm also looking forward to really discuss in depth about this draft reaction like that.
Thank you so much, Hiko. Yeah, thank you so much, Hiko. It's been definitely very fun to watch the draft all together. These two blockheads were with me when we were watching the draft. So yeah, introduce yourself. Nextercise, what's up, my man? Tell the audience.
Hello, my name is Nextercise. I'm actually new to this cast, I guess. So,
Yes,
hopefully, we'll get along well and anything. Thank you.
Yeah, these two are very long time DDR fans. Hiko doesn't play as much, but he has been following the scene for quite a while, and Nextercise has been playing for as far as I've known him, which is a long time ago. So you know, I would say that he would be our our library for this before like this DDR BPL, unless I get someone else involved who also plays a lot. So you know, we appreciate having him here. So you know, all right. So regardless, we're gonna begin right now. So the BPL draft was the BPL DDR Season 2 draft was held on 25th March on the afternoon. Our hosts were the really great Maxwell Powers and Gaho, the very known DDR player. So you know, and 29 players were selected to make the cut for this BPL draft, and out of those 29 players, 24 made the cut. So, and they were divided into the teams that we knew before, into the 8 teams that we all knew before, which is in Group A, it will be GiGO, Game Panic, Silcat, and Taito Station TRADZ for Group A. And for Group B, it will be APINA VRAMeS, SUPERNOVA Tohoku, Round 1, and Leisureland. The order of these groups were selected by, a straw vote that they did before the draft. So these groups were just determined by complete chance. And I guess, we can start with discussing the teams. So each team will have 3 players, and all these 3 players will play. They'll play all the 3 matches that will be played in the first group stage. The thing is very unique. So there will be 3 matches, and the first match for the group stage will be a singles battle between level 12 to level 14. The second match will be another singles battle, which is, I believe, it was 15 to 17, if I'm not wrong, or was it? Is that correct, guys?
Yeah, 15. 17. Yeah.
Yeah, 15.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, 15 to 17. And then the bottom match, and then the last match, which will be a tag match. This is the first time I've seen a tag match and a BPL, kind of BPL match. And those matches there will be a tag match with 2 players selected from the team, and that will be from level 13 to 17. So it's unique to see that, these matches will, because usually we saw in the sample text it would start with single, tag, single, but now it's single, single, tag. So tag is gonna be worth a lot. So yeah, and so the cost to do the first match will be 20 points. Every player will have about 160 cost on top of the requirement they need to play every single match. And from this 160 cost, the first match will cost 20 points. The second singles match will cost 40 points, and participation in the tag battle will be 40 points too. So that's gonna be what the cost that they have to consider if you're wondering why the costs are marginally reduced for each match, it's because every team will have strategy cards. They make their return from the 2DX tourney, and now they have an extra rule where if you use a strategy card, it will add a 40. It will add a cost of 40 to the player. So basically, it'll take 40 off every time they use a strategy card from the player that's going to play that match. So it adds an interesting twist to the formula that we've seen. It's a bit of a merger of the Sound Voltex and the 2DX like formats with the strategy cards and the initial rules, I would say. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like comparatively to how, you know, because the Voltex one, the third one was just like 70 points. It was like such a huge cost, and then you basically had to plan your game plan all around like just one player being either the last match specialist or something like that. So it's definitely something considerable. And okay, so one last quick thing about the song pool. They will be divided into two categories, and then basically it will be like completely random. So it'll be split. So the song list will be split into three categories first, which is classic, which means songs from DDR first mix to DDR X3 versus second mix, which is actually a huge song pool, right, guys? Like when we discussed this, it was really shocking. Like that's basically like half of the song list, right?
Yeah, indeed.
It's like half of the song list. Like my God, there's way too much.
Of 12 years and. Yeah, around 12.
Yeah, around 12, and especially because like the top end, especially because as the newer series has progressed, there's more top level content compared to like the low level content, and I don't think they're gonna pick difficult for this BPL unless they do, which will make it kind of interesting to see how many more 12. So basically, yeah, classic white, which is DDR Ace to. So DDR Ace to
white it's from
oh sorry
DDR
no
2013
I call it DDR 2013 to DDR Ace, which is yes it was the basically that's the white cab era of DDR. RIP Bozo Black Cab, we will never miss, we won't remember you, I guess. And then yeah, the last one is obviously the gold era, which is DDR Ace 2O or A20 as people might call it, to A3, which is the current version right now. So it's gonna be split into those three versions, three groups, and then after that they're gonna be divided into two groups, which is standard, which is like, you know, just a standard song with no BPM changes or gimmicks or anything, and tricky. Tricky is where all the BPM gimmicks are. So you know those funny songs like, you know, Pluto, all the Plutos, all the, I don't know what song. Just like
Max series, special edition series.
Yeah, the Max series, the Paranoia series. Maybe they'll all probably be in Tricky or something like that. I guess it's interesting that they divide into such a weird thing. Would you say that? Would you both agree actually? If that's a really odd kind of like choice to just split into like three eras instead of like maybe 4 different eras, but maybe that's too much. I don't know.
I personally do agree with how they divided the song, because the DDR song graph doesn't really reflect like which chart is really like this. Oh, you got lots of tricky section. You have to use the technique. So the difference is it's not like Sound Voltex or 2DX that this song is really obvious with this charting and such. DDR has much more unique variety of charts and techniques to be used. So
I guess you got the Groove Radar, right?
Yeah, making more categories based on that Groove Radar itself is gonna be like so many song pools, and I can see why they really don't want to spend a lot of time to categorize that kind of song into a new category. So I think it's really fair play for them to put it with like let's divide it to this eras, and then also let's divide it to just like your usual straightforward song, and then just do like a tricky gimmicky song in order to trick it.
I have sort of a conspiracy theory, I guess. Maybe they did this because they don't want to pick where Dead End Groove Radar special goes.
Yeah,
right?
That's actually possible though.
Like
I mean, yeah.
They're like, oh my god, it's all 5. Like how the fuck do we put this anywhere, right?
I mean, Group Rider Special is just only for fooling around, and it become like Japanese player favorites to like fooling people in each journey. But I guess on the like the era defining by era, I think it's also a good idea too, because from what I've seen, especially like in the Gold era, I think Konami is already brave enough to like up the antes, like adding more difficult song from 16 upwards and
That's
such
true, yeah.
like that.
We've
So
been seeing an
and
uptick in difficult content, as you said.
yeah, and then classics have like some kind of issue of LED offsetting like that, and then white is just like just the middle of it, like the transition between like the how the old charting and old playstyle plays out, and then like shifting it to the newer and more mainstream player. Even we got those Americans go back to DDR. So yeah, it's really a good song pool categorization done by Konami for this BPL, in my
It's
opinion.
interesting. It's definitely interesting. So obviously, I think the mixture of first match classic and second match gold will be pretty deadly. It's literally like jank from an old age throw to jank from a new age, right? So yeah, yeah. I guess we've kind of talked about the rules a bit at length. We can definitely expect to see a lot of like really funny category mixes. Like I said, classic on the first match, classic tricky on the first match, and you know, gold tricky on the second match will be pretty funny to see. So okay, we'll probably get we've talked about the rules long enough. We can probably start seeing the players here. And yes, as like I said, out of the 24 players picked, they went all to 8 teams out of a draft process very similar to the exact same draft process that the previous BPLs used. Basically, every team will just pick who they want. If there is a clash, like if, for example, Team GiGO and Team Round 1 select Oshima, which happened, by the way, they will go to a lucky. They'll go to like a game of chance, like a lucky draw, basically, and they are given 2 slips of paper. You choose which slip of paper you want to open, and if you open yours, you get like the rights, then yes, that team will get the services of Oshima. So GiGO round 1 pick Oshima, GiGO gets the winning slip, GiGO gets Oshima. That's not what happened, but like but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's start with like the first team, which is APINA VRAMeS. My personal favorite team, and also Hiko's personal favorite team. So they were the first 2DX champions, and you know, at the moment they didn't have much success in season 2 of BPL, and hopefully they could make the change here. And for their 3 players selected for the first draft, they picked. Let me just get their English. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have their English titles basically committed to my head, so I will just like. The first one is the old rookie who continues to evolve, Mamoru. An interesting pick, I would say. The second one is the Hiroshima all-rounder, Noti. He was picked relatively later. And the third is exercising is great, Po, the single lady in this tournament and even in the draft. She is, KC female champion. Noti is not really a known competitive player. He only started appearing around like Ace 2-0 around Ace 2-0 and shown to be a really really solid performer. And Mamoru, as he said, is considered the old rookie. He called himself the old rookie. He participated in the Esports tournament for DDR, and also was pretty consistently was qualifying for KAC. And at Ace 2-0 he had every single 16 and 17 PFC. So interesting team. I was a bit, because I was hoping that APINA would pick a very very solid like known proven player to the first draft, which they did when they picked Nayu. They picked Nayu first, and then they lost the rights to Leisureland. Then they opted to pick Mamoru, which is interesting. So yeah, I guess we'll probably take it from the top. I personally think that this is a very interesting team. They have, I would say that they were pretty covered from top to bottom. Noti is pre-proven. Po won the KAC, even though, but you know, she's the female KAC, but you know, she's still no slouch. We had like doubts like with players like Mahina who qualified for the Sam Voltex, and unfortunately she didn't perform well. But it seems like we're seeing Po who can seem to compete at a decent level too. So, but yeah, like I said, Mamoru is a big question mark to me, but I would say that I want to give him a chance because he has a good track record and he seems to be. He made his recent reappearance like in the community around A3, and he's been doing decently well ever since. He played with Dolce and Hoshikete recently, so yeah, that's kind of my thoughts about Pina. I don't think they're the strongest team by far, but yeah, what do you think about this, Hiko?
I do also agree that APINA hasn't really got the strongest team upon all the actives participating on this season. I have my own general pointer about this, so I guess
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's not really about, this guy has like the most insane accuracy, oh, this guy has the most insane score. It is the consistency that's most vital in this scale of competition. We're talking about like a season long of competition, and
Mm-hmm.
DDR
That's true.
is physically inducing
Physically intensive, yeah.
game title is more intense than 2DX and so on Voltex. So I think that whoever gets the most consistent results, whether your team is like just a mediocre or strong, they will prevail on the group stage. And I can sense a lot of like upsets victory from the teams that seems to be underestimated, unlike other teams like that. And then I
Mm.
also think like we already know the issues with the gold cap, and we see it live on the
Yeah,
like the
that's true. That's true.
BPL zero draft. So
There seems to
what
be some
I'm
hardware
really
issues, yeah.
yeah, I'm really afraid that if this issue does not get resolved by the time the tapings of the regular stages has started, it could make some questionable
Mm-hmm.
results to some player, and it will be deemed unfair if such hardware issues like this really making disadvantage to certain player. And
Yeah, because
also,
some players'
Hmm?
styles, right? Like I think you're talking about how players like have some stepping styles that might not complement how the gold cap is with the
Indeed,
hardware and such.
indeed.
So yeah.
Indeed. And also the most important thing is like DDR is really prone to like injuries, and so yeah, you know how physically intense we play DDRs and
Yeah,
such. So this
straining
is
your legs
really
and all that.
yeah,
It's
so
good.
this is really an aspect that every team must took attention, because
Mm-hmm.
they seems to have not implemented like a stand-in and everything. So everyone must
Still three
stay on
players,
their
yeah.
prime, and they need to really take care of their legs and such. And just like you can train vigorously, you can train hard, but make sure you take care of yourself before like the actual games go, because if you like having injury and let's say you're Mamoru and then you got injured and such, it's gonna be hard for your like
Teammates,
your
yeah.
other members to really step up and help what's supposed to be your role, right? So yeah, every player needs to be careful with this. As
What do you?
my personal thoughts for
Mm-hmm.
Pina, I think everyone is like an equal. I've seen Poe score. She's really good as the female KC champion. Note is
He's crazy.
very good at
He's
like
quite crazy.
season
Quite nuts. He's
17.
quite nuts.
Yeah,
Like 7P
yeah, quite.
digitalizer, I believe. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, quite nice. And Mamoru, I'm gonna go with like a benefit of the doubt for him, because I actually did not research much with him. So perhaps maybe Mamoru is like kind of a biased pick from Apina. Let's say maybe because maybe this Mamoru guy play in Apina branch so much, so he could be like a good representative, because
I
we do know
could
that
be.
we do know that this competition like represent an arcades in Japan, right? So maybe they really needs a guy that could represents their arcade's popularity, and therefore they
That's
choose
true.
Mamoru.
Yeah.
If their player fixed decision is like that, yeah, I mean I totally respect that, but in the long run, I don't think it's gonna work in a bit. So yeah, I really hope maybe they could put up some fight in like middle card. Maybe realistically, they could reach quarterfinal, but it will take some luck and yeah, effort.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to say right now. I also don't really know what to feel about say what their positions are right now, and it's like what you said. I don't know why they picked Mamoru. Maybe they feel Mamoru is a good representative. He has shown himself to be a decent, like, a very good ambassador for the team so far. Though it's only been a while. We haven't seen their further activities. But yeah, Mamoru no Tipo, very interesting team. What do you think, Nextercise, about like Team APINA VRAMeS?
Yeah, quickly, but for me, like, for lower level matches, I think they can like level themselves with the others, because I know that Naughty and Po has a very good accuracy in lower levels.
Yeah,
And
lower levels.
especially like Po, she has like a single STPs on 15s and 16. So
Very strong,
I
right?
actually yeah, actually like she got like 6 perfects on Spring Pony and stuff. I'm actually like pretty hopeful. Although on the other hand, Mamoru really has to like do his homework, because as we know, I think he's just returned or something, and I don't see
Yeah.
like a very decent performance from him. At least from what I see uh in his Twitter post. So
That's true.
yes, like it's like lower levels doesn't have like too little perfects. Like I don't think he'll be like I don't know, like the MVP or something. I really hope I still really hope he will do his homework and work hard for like himself with the others. So that's quickly for me for APINA VRAMES.
Yeah. The what Exercise is referring to is just, yeah, we were when we were watching Mamoru stream with Hoshiketi and Dolce, he did perform well. It's just seems like a lot of his songs are just not filled out. So, and it would be not funny if somebody just gives him something that he hasn't practiced or hasn't seen much of at all, because obviously it's a bit hard to just sight read and just instantly perform really well, even at any level. So yeah. So okay.
Indeed, like I don't know, like just like Mamoru, like maybe people like maybe the other teams will like find his weakness. I hope he will like either practice more and like fix his weakness and something like that.
Pretty much, yeah. We can see what's gonna happen probably about in a month. That's when the recordings begin, and I think that's when the streams will begin. All right, we're gonna go to the second team, Gaming Oasis, GiGO. They did a pretty impressive run in the 2DX BPL, and they reached all the way to the finals in SEVX, which is a pretty impressive run for a team. Despite, not I wouldn't say they had the strongest teams in their I would say they had the strongest teams in their compositions for 2DX and Sound Voltex, but they had very, very consistent players, which means that their scouting team is pretty on the money. But for DDR, I think it's a pretty different case, because this team is strong. It is very, very strong. I'm just impressed by looking at it. So for the first draft, they picked the incumbent 10KC champion and Japanese DDR superstar Wakayama Evolved Hibiki. A player that I think most of the active community will know. Very, very strong. He just plays in Yeezys and he gets like 9 perfects on Hyper Twist in like the first day. It's impressive. Something like that. The second player is another like really long time player and another really proven player, Anlim. His title is to exceed the limits, just like his username. And yes, he participated in the BPL Zero he also participated in BPL Zero that Hibiki and Po were part of. So yeah, he's been a very long time player. He's still relatively active, and I would say that he's he was like a second drafter who is the most like a first draft. And for their last player, I would say that GiGO has done an interesting thing. Oh, sorry, my bad. I would say they've done an interesting thing and drafted a relative newcomer, Tsuyoshi. His title is Kansai's Marvelous Attackers. challenge to the top. So it's a very, very interesting and very long title. But yeah, this is a strong team, and I'm very, very interested to see where this goes. Like I said, Hibiki, incumbent 10KC champion, on limb, I would say the only second drafter who's like a first drafter. And Tsuyoshi is the one that I have not much knowledge about, but when I was looking at Twitter, he seems to be a very, very strong timer, and I think he's a good complement and good finishing touch to the GiGO team, who already has like a lot of proven players, which is Hibiki and Adlim. So yeah, I would say that they are pound for pound like the strongest team right now in DDR BPL, relatively different to the other GiGO teams. Would you guys agree, Hiko?
I do agree that having Hibiki and Unrim is really a good staple for this competition due to the accolades of their scores, their achievement, especially Hibiki winning the recent KC for the free division. So, but once again, I'm gonna argue that my general pointer stands for every team. So whether every team's like many good staple players like Hibiki and such, it all comes to consistency and people adapting to the golden cap. So I think even though with all that issues aside, GiGO really have a really great fighting chances to make it to at least a semi-final that. So it will be like an absolute shocker if somehow GiGO ends up in the lower bracket quarterfinal or even eliminated. They really have the players to get what it takes to go to at least the semifinals. So I really hope they do reach that stage immediately, maybe other teams and such.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said, I think we all definitely agree that GiGO just had a really, really sweet deal right now. KC champion, consistent KC qualifier, and a guy who, while unknown, has had proven to be a really, really good timer to close out the team, like I said. So yeah, same opinions, Nextercise, or would you dissent on anything?
Yeah, I actually agree, and to be honest, they have a very, I'd say, very balanced. I don't know if the word is balanced or something. They have Unlim, which is very, I would say it should be very specialized in the classic ones from the first of the X3, and then we have Tsuyoshi, which is his recent post suggests that he is more of a gold player, a gold era player. So his white and gold era scores are very, very good, to be honest.
Yeah, a relative new
player. Really, and also Hibiki, as we know, he would be the ace of the team for the harder song. So I really hope they have a very good consistency, considering how much of an achievement they have as of now. That's
definitely true. Yeah, that's really true. Like I said, yeah, like what Nextercise said, it seems like Tsuyoshi is more of a recent returns. I would say that all of these players are relatively older than the average BPL players and such. I would say that they're all probably their 30s or late 20s compared to 2DX, which was definitely older, which while older was not as old as some of these players, I would say. Though there are some younger outliers. Hibiki is still very, very young. I would say he's still college age, and he's already one of the best players in the world. So, and yeah, I would agree with Hiko's point though. I would add on Hiko's point to Hibiki. Unfortunately, didn't really perform that well at BPL 0. So even though he is the incumbent 10KC champion, maybe when you assess it on a completely different scale, he could potentially be not as strong as we would like to imagine. But yeah, this is just still way too early to say. As I said, I feel like all these teams have a decent chance. So yeah, now I guess we can conclude to GiGO and move on to Game Panic. Game Panic, not really the best BPL record, I would say. They've had miracle runs in BPL S2 where they made it to the playoffs from like a place where they did not want to be, which was eliminated. So we're gonna see these three players for Team Game Panic, which is gonna be starting with the first drafter, the Bemani Master, Hoshiketi. He is not. It is not just for title. He is actually, when KEC was doing awards for people who qualified for every single KEC, they gave a award to the person who had the highest like average, and that person happened to be Hoshiketi. And Hoshiketi was also the future Tom Tom KC champion, which is he basically just went to the KC ground and collected his trophy. There was no final tournament. But yeah, he is known to be a very, very strong like 19s player with a lot of stamina. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself talking about Hoshiketi. But yeah, Hoshiketi will be first. The second is the Stream Dance Star, G's ACS. And the last guy in the team, the happy guy, Yoshi Yeah. This is an interesting team, like I said, like very interesting team. I would say this team is a lot less. I don't really know how this team if this team would succeed very well. Hoshiketi has considered a ranker. He plays all the 18s. He plays all the 19s. He can FC like very, very difficult 18s, but I think the biggest point of contention has always been his accuracy with regards to this, because as much as he has the power and stamina to play all the really difficult songs, I'm not really sure if he has the ability to time very well as relatively to the other first drafters and even maybe some second drafters. Giz is a interesting pick too. He was also picked by Team Cellcat. He's definitely a very stable pick. He has very, very good scores from like all ranges of levels. He's like a true veteran of the game and has pretty much played for like a very long time. And he was one of the people who was really, really excited about the DDR BPL, was really like on up to it. So I assume he has a very, very high drive to succeed and push Game Panic to the top. And that guy Yoshi, yeah, seems to be another veteran of the DDR community. I don't know about him too much because he's not a very public figure, nor is very known for his scores, but from what I've seen, he's also going to be basically the low-level specialist. On average, I would say that the third drafts of the BPLs would be those people who specializes in low levels and can play like the smaller matches if needed to. So yeah, as from my own personal evaluation of Yoshi, he seems to be pretty decent at that, and would be the complementing piece to this team that hopefully is going to win it all. What do you think about this team, Hiko? I feel like I don't know about their own success, but they should be able to put on a good show.
I think considering DDR players is comprises of like veterans that already played from like the first iteration of DDR selecting, like Gias and Yoshi. I think they're gonna be like being put it on like the classic category and something. So like people who understand how old chart works and such, and probably they gonna really realize it on Hoshiketi, since he's like really like one of the few old veterans who keep playing religiously until now. So I really don't have like high hopes for this if they really gonna try to capitalize like classic category and such, and not really adapting to let's say the gold category with the many difficult songs like that. But as long as they really know what strategy would like to be pull out or which players to be played, I think they have a fighting chance, but not like as much as APINA in my opinion. But they do have some, yes.
So yeah, I think the concerns are obviously like Hoshiketi, he has good accuracy, of course, or else he wouldn't be picked in the BPL. But I would say, like I said, his MA is not as strong as some of these people we've seen like at the top, and it's just a point of contention to see. Giz and Yoshi are definitely people who played like everything, but they're more, I don't know how. I don't know if they're particularly great on like what you say the gold category, which is like the newer songs, because you know that's the thing about players from a different generation. Maybe it's a bit harder, but yeah, maybe Nextercise probably has the answer to that. Do you know what do you feel about the team?
So about this team, so Oshikechi, although it's just like the like the um I don't know, like the best skills out of all three here. The issue with Hoshikeshi is he has a real I cannot say he has a very bad consistency, but he's not very good at it. So hopefully when the taping time comes, he will like perform at his best.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have GS and Yoshie. Yoshie is really good at maintaining Marvelous. He has like I don't know what 140 something MFC. So
That's a lot.
maybe like for lower level songs he will be like the ace of the team.
Definitely,
And he just will be like the like all rounder. Like maybe if the cost allows him to perform in the big matches, and he will perform his best.
That's right.
I really like the balance. Although I'm not as much as Hiko. Panic definitely has some slaves, some A's on the series. Hopefully they perform well, because again, consistency I feel like Hiko says. Well.
Yeah, consistency is always the theme of the game when it comes to the BPL, and you know, like I said, like Nextercise said, G's is he can play low levels, he can play high levels, so you know, Hoshikechi isn't really overloaded, and you know, when it's a pretty straightforward standard chart, I think Hoshikechi could do something like that. I saw him get like a single digit perfect PFC on Unbelievable during Dolce stream, which you know, even though it's a straightforward chart, SDPing something is pretty damn sick, you know.
Indeed. Yeah, I would agree.
It's still pretty sick to do it live. So, you know, he definitely would be fine if the song isn't too irregular or anything. But yeah, we could be completely wrong too. There were times where I've been completely wrong about teams in the BPL. Like I did not expect round one on Sound Voltex to be unfortunately completely shellacked. Like what we didn't expect them to win that much, but we did expect them to like absolutely lose everything either. So you know, and we did expect Silcat to just be carried by the monstrous performance of Daiki at Sound Voltex. You know. Ridiculous performance. Yeah, I still can't get over it till then. He was one of the big reasons I got a Silcat t-shirt today. But yeah. Alright,
nice.
Okay. Alright, I'm kidding. Alright, I should probably stop digressing and move on to the team that I just mentioned earlier. Team Silcat. I would say this is the crowd favorite. Oh yeah, I actually forgot to mention like the theme song and everything, but you know, I'll talk about it later. But yeah. Team Silcat, crowd favorite. They were the underdogs in the 2DX league. They did decently well in Sound Voltex. Reached about quarterfinals before unfortunately they ran out of gas and Taito Station TRADZ just really picked up. But they have a pretty interesting team, I would say. It's full of players that are. It has a couple of old veterans and this one new guy who's really just tearing the DDR community apart with his incredible playstyle. So yeah, Silcat's 3 draft players are the champion's brother, champion being Hibiki because he's his younger brother, Kaname. He's the first draft. The second player to be drafted is the human metronome, Ginyasu. And the last player to be selected after being contested by I believe it was Supernova Tohoku? Yes, it was Supernova Tohoku. Abetaku, the Endoshima booster. Okay, so Kaname, yeah, wow, he is what the community would consider a pretty anomalous player. Videos of him playing DDR around last year, I would say, showed up on Twitter, and and he just plays in such an unorthodox, crazy way. He brackets on the gold cap like it's no one business. So yeah, videos of him just got viral, and yeah, he's very, very good. He's related to Hibiki. I believe that's what his title is referring to, the champion's brother. And you know, it seems like rhythm gaming is in the blood because this guy is really, really good. He has like 18th PFC and all that, so definitely a very, very solid first pick. He was contested. I believe he was contested also with either with one of the teams. I forgot which exactly.
Yeah, I think
it was Tohoku.
It was Tohoku. Yeah.
It was Tohoku. Yeah, Tohoku picked Kaname too, but Silcat won the draw. So you know, yeah, interesting pick for the team, for the top hat team. And then the second player to here is Ginyasu. I would say he is a very, very, very old player. He is known to be one of the best, like, marvelous accuracies back then. During the age where people did not get MFCs, which was around DDR 2013 and DDR 2014, he was the first Japanese player to do so pretty consistently. Am I right, Nextercise?
Yeah. He has along with I think Umehara or someone. Yeah.
Umehara, yes, that was another player.
Yeah, these two players are really, really good. Even with I don't know, even with the timing of the old series like 2013 and below, which is really, really, I would say really horrible.
Yeah, MFCs were not MFCs and sync were really MFCs and proper sync were a thing of the past back then, or not a thing. When we were playing 2013, 2014. 2013, you'd see an MFC, you would actually like jaw drop, even if it's like a 9 or something like that.
Yeah, and yeah, gaming really impressive indeed.
It was super impressive back then, and Ginyasu was one of those players. So you know, him appearing here would definitely give Silcat a very, very good edge in timing. And yes, Abetaku, the Enoshima booster. Like I said, the third drafted player is usually a player that just complements the entire team. Complements the entire team on low levels or anything. And yes, Abetaku is that player, I would say. He's not like particularly like he doesn't stand out in a particularly like eye-popping way, I would say. He's a pretty good player by metric of his own scores. So I guess Silcat just relied on a safe pick and are just hoping that Abetaku can perform on stage, pretty much. Abetaku was also contested by Tohoku, and Silcat once again won the draw. So, you know, hopefully that works out for them. But I personally think that they have managed to sculpt a pretty decent team again. Silcat unfortunately picks players who have issues with consistency pretty consistently, sadly. So like pretty consistently picks players with consistency issues. Like season 2DX they picked Junta, who unfortunately couldn't get any points, and season 2 Sound Voltex they selected Citrus, who also unfortunately couldn't get any points. Hopefully that's not the case for DDR, and they can have a team that could pretty consistently perform. Do you like this team, Hiko? I personally think they have a decent chance of making far, but I don't know about winning outright. But I'd be surprised. Do you think so, Hiko?
Yeah, overall, they really have a better fighting chance in the DDR division, unlike the Sound Voltex and 2DX. Kaname is like a new prodigy for the new generation for DDR, so really expect him to like carry the whole team, like maybe to the at least quarterfinal is enough. I think personally they like the second or the third best team in this tournament right now, but I really doubt again with the consistency. We do see like Kaname have like some groundbreaking playstyle, groundbreaking scores in like a very difficult songs, but I haven't seen his play on like in lower than 16 levels of songs. So this is really a test for him to see whether is really a promising prodigy that everyone has talked about over these few months, or he's gonna have some difficulties to adjust with this kind of competition. Because yeah, season-long competition, anything can happen, even though you're like on the top form this year. So yeah, I hope everything works out for all of them, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would say Kaname is unproved. Kaname is not really a guy who you would see play low levels. He just wows people with how he plays big level songs. So yeah, and you know, but yeah, what do you feel about this team, Nextercise?
Yeah. So a lot of my points has been said by Hiko. So, but I'd like to add that Kaname is actually very good at level 15. His 15 and 14 songs are have like a lot of them have single digit perfects, and I think if I think he will like he will hold very well for those range of levels, but I don't know about the 12, 13, 14. I'm not really sure, but I hope he will hold well hold well too. As about Kinyasu, we know him very well.
Yeah,
His
Ginyasu.
MFCs are really insane, and then
Yeah.
Abetaku from what I can see, Abetaku is actually a pretty good all-rounder, I guess.
He's an all-rounder. We could call him
Like,
all-rounder.
yeah, he is a very decent score for the higher levels, and his lower levels also are cannot be ignored as well. He's really good
Definitely.
at that.
Definitely.
But I really this is just really strong team, I guess. Yeah. And hopefully they won't have the consistency issue that we just talked about.
Yeah, the
Hopefully.
consistency issues with the previous teams. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid team from top to bottom. It actually covers everything pretty handily. I just hope that they don't overuse Ginyasu in like low levels or something. I think that's a crucial error that they can basically make. It could be easy points in the early matches, but you know, if you win early points, it doesn't really matter if the big matches you lose the big matches, right? So yeah, I hope they would consider putting Ginyasu a bit more strategically, because he's the most proven, I would say. Okay, so we can move to the next team, the Supernova from Tohoku. That is their actual title, Supernova Tohoku. So yeah, they're going to. They've opted for a very interesting selection of players here, with only I would say with only one player that I think the community relatively knows. The first, which is their ace, I believe Guren means like crimson. Yes, Guren means crimson. The Crimson Entertainer. Yoshimiz. Jesus, why did I stutter there? And yeah, sorry, I have not committed these players' titles to memory, so I will have to like keep checking it out. With a lot of explosive power, Rinbo, the youngest man in the tournament, 17 years old, just like Misobi from San Voltex. TRADZ team, yes. And shouting it out, it's on. He was the last man to be picked in the draft after Tohoku lost the right to draft Abetaku. And yeah, I would say that this team has possibly the most confusing like high end but a confirmed low end, because Yoshimi is one of the most known veterans, I would say, of the scene. He's been around since like those 2013 KACs. He's been that long of a player, right? Even like from the first case, DDR KC, he's been around representing Japan. Is that right, Nextercise? I think I'm just checking.
Yes.
I think like he's just been here for very long, and you know he's
but yeah, I'm not sure about the KC, but I don't think so.
because yeah, he's been here for very long. I've seen him play with Bro Sony or Oshima around DDR X3 and all that. So you know, very old time player, very proven timer on the mid levels. I don't know. He played on BPL DDR0. Unfortunately, his team was the first to be eliminated, Team Red, and he unfortunately couldn't really keep up with like the aces, which is like Oshima and Hibiki and all that. So yeah, so Yoshimiz, he would be pretty good for this team, I would say, as a leader. Quite charismatic. Maybe he will help Tohoku reach some more new audiences. The second guy, Rinbo, the 17-year-old who, if he's 17 and he has so much done in DDR already. Has very ridiculous MA on very difficult songs. Like, remember that Shin Hebihime score that I shared? He had like 16 perfect or something, and that is a difficult 17.
Yeah, that's really Shin Happy was really hard, and
It's extremely hard, and he has such a good score. I mean, like it's probably just the difference generation. He's like the baby of the bunch, 17 with like these 30 somethings in his team. Well, yeah, but he has a lot of like raw talent, and it seems like Tohoku is taking a chance with selecting him. He has the credentials, but definitely we'll have to see if he has the strong mental game to perform on the big stage, like the BPL and such, especially if they make it all the way. And yeah, the last man that they picked on the another like long time player, it seems, not really known for his. I wouldn't say he's really known for being good at high levels, but he's a low level specialist. Even his bio in the draft says that he basically focuses on the low levels. So I think the Tohoku is just trying to cover their tracks at the bottom. So I would assume that they're just trying to get through the first stage safely and hoping that they can, somehow eke out a win until all the way to the finals, because of how big the DDR how big the song range is in the finals. Even 13, you can still pick 13 in the grand finals, which is like, interesting to think about. So yeah, I think they're just trying to keep themselves safe. They might be a team that can stay from the first round, because there might be a team that can survive the first round. Not sure about the future, but yeah. Do you feel the same? Start with Hiko, I guess.
Well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say that maybe Tohoku is like having the least fighting chances on this division, because
To win all the way, right? To
yes,
win all the way, right?
solely relying on Yoshimitsu, I think is not enough. Although I see On really have like some good 16 accolades in like PFC and such. I think it's not really showing the full potential of from this team overall. So man, I don't know. I don't have
Yeah.
really have a very low not much of a commentary for this team. I just really hope that maybe they could like turn around one or two matches or something, and it will be like really great if they can at least make it to a quarterfinal. But overall, I don't think they have that much of a fighting chance, unlike the other teams.
I would understand the very big question marks that this team has, but I think maybe we are counting out Rinbo a bit too early, because Rinbo is probably the biggest gamble pick, I would say, in this draft. The most the most highest potential, high ceiling, unproven player, especially because he's very very young too. As I said, he is 17. He appeared in the BPL draft in his school uniform. He's that young. So yeah, do you feel the same way about Tohoku Nextercise?
Yeah, but a lot of again, lots of my points that we said before. But I see that I don't Rainbow has a really good potential. He has 21 perfects on insist, which in it has a really interesting interesting
A red and green boy.
Yeah, like I don't know, like a lot, like a lot of greens and such in insist, and also seeing his Twitter, I think like his higher levels. I think he's doing his homework on the higher level songs. Hopefully, when he has to like perform on the higher level songs, he won't be like, I don't know, like at least he can fight well. And then we know that On has really good lower level songs. Although I don't see much of his higher level performance from his tour, but hopefully he has he does his homework for the higher level songs as well.
True,
I see that he has like what is this, like fascination eternal of mix. He has a very, I don't know. He has like decent MA on that song, but hopefully he does more for the team. And yeah, yeah, this team is not very, very like I don't know, preferable, but yeah, hopefully they will fight to the like fight in their best performance. I think.
Yeah, I would say that I think the general consensus here is that we really are not sure if Tohoku can pull it off all the way. Because they're but like I can say that their game plan is from top to bottom is pretty like laid out. Like on will definitely focus on low levels, and Rinbo will be a player that they want to put out on more difficult matches, and Yoshimiz is just a catch all first all rounder that can really support the team. So I think they have a pretty like obvious game plan, but I hope that's not. But I hope that game plan pays off because they're really gambling on Rinbo performing very well. He's probably like the biggest the biggest potential steal if he actually performs as well. Like you remember Misobi from Taito Station TRADZ, the one unknown player, the also high schooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's like
Yeah.
another gamble
Hopefully,
they're willing to take. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it works out. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I guess that's probably our own assessment for SUPERNOVA Tohoku, and we're gonna move on to the the strongest team in the strongest team. I'm just kidding. I probably like Taito Station TRADZ, the team with the strongest marketing, the strongest hype videos, everything. So it's pretty much spoilers for the stream that's coming this week, but they won the Sound Voltex BPL pretty handily with plays from Murakami and everyone. So yeah, they are hoping to continue that momentum with the selection of these three players, relatively unknowns, but from what we've seen, this could be an extremely strong team. It's a very like accomplished team from top to bottom. They also got the team by some pretty good luck. So yeah, the first pick, the Dr. Boost, who pursues interesting play, Yudai, the God of Thunder, not the actual God of Thunder, Thor, and and a guy with endless possibilities, Men. This is a scary team, I would say, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I would say that the least proven player in this team is the first player, which is funny if you think about it. But yeah, Yudai, another long time player. He's actually pretty known for being one of the best pump it up players Japan has ever had, I would say. And even before, and like it was pretty surprising to see him in the draft, especially because whenever you go to his Twitter, he's either speedrunning DDR on the controller, speedrunning at the other different games, or playing Pump It Up. I was like, I don't think we'll see Yudai. Like, Yudai is here. So I guess Taito Station TRADZ has seen the value in his, I guess, relative fame in the community, and definitely he's not a bad player by any slouch, but his DDR activities he has considerably a lower amount of DDR related activities. It's obviously going to change with this BPL. So yeah, I think Taito's taking a pretty interesting gamble with this. Thor, wow, this guy is pretty scary. He's like one of those players we did not expect to be that strong, but like he appeared in the DDR BPL. We've done our research on him, just like how we did our research with Daiki from Silk Hat, and wow, we were very impressed. APINA actually wanted to take him as their second drafter, but they lost the draw to Taito Station TRADZ, and now TRADZ has Thor. Me and Nextercise were discussing him, and this guy is a beast. Yeah, we're pretty surprised that nobody else decided to take him first. So yeah, and the third draft is pretty much the same thing, but this one I think everyone did their homework and agreed that he is the best pick, and it's Men. Men was selected by 4 teams in the third part of the draft, and yeah, Men ended up going to TRADZ. What can I say other than all 12s to 16s up in A3 PFC? He's Taito has gone for a very like pointed strategy, and they stole 2 really strong lower drafters. And if Yudai, I'm not saying that Yudai isn't going to perform as well, but it's something when your first drafter is probably like the least established out of your team. So this could be, I don't know if they have the power to go all the way, but I would say that they could be a surprise semi-finalist or even a finalist. I don't know. Would you agree with that, Hiko?
I think one aspect that people need really to pay attention, that the sheer stamina needed to play API doesn't really translate to being excellent on DDR. So I think Yuda is gonna have some kind of timing adjustment, because I do know Yuda has like a really more active of a palm player rather than a DDR. So I think it will be expected if like TRADZ gonna kind of be bumpy like in the first and second matchup. But I think when it comes to maybe like picking songs over 17, they really do have like a fighting power, fighting chances in there. So yeah, I hope all of the members can really adjust, and like maybe Thor could like help snatch a few match point for them, because yeah, Thor's
Thor,
accolades are just scary, and I do respect TRADZ for getting him on the Junken. So yeah, props to them to make a great stable team to begin this DDR division. And if I'm being realistic, yeah, maybe they could make it to the quarterfinal at least.
This is definitely you. Do you like Ben too, Hiko? Do you think he's a good? Do you think he's a good take?
I haven't seen much with him, but I guess he can be like maybe a wild card, maybe to cause an ups and everything. So, but yeah, each team has a reason to like, oh, let's pick this guy and let's pick this guy also. So if they think that these three players can create some synergy and can do well in like the regular stage, I think picking men will be not a regrettable pick, and it will be beneficial if they do
definitely.
things right.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was very in high demand, so we're gonna see if that's gonna be the thing that holds true. What about you, Nextercise? I feel like this team is strong. Do you feel like this team is strong?
Yeah, indeed. But again, this all comes back to how you like Uday really has a lot of homework to do, because like he can, in a sense, he cannot play as casually and as he was, but we'll see how it goes, because again, but again, Uday is like an old timer. He shouldn't be.
Yes.
He shouldn't have like, I don't know, like a lot of issues with like, I don't know, transitioning between PAM and DDR. But again, he really has to pick up the pace. As for Thor and, well, what can I say? They have yes, they have an insane accuracy. So hopefully they will bring the consistency to the leagues, and hopefully they can like, give the best performance they have again. And especially Thor, because I've seen his stream with Po, and I don't know, with a lot of with some friends in YouTube, and then he just like casually like
PFC,
like PFC, and adding one marvelous like in each song, and then what? He just don't grind the songs. He just casually playing it, and then suddenly up score. What the heck?
Play once, up score, simple as.
It's like nothing. Yeah. So hopefully they will perform.
Definitely. I feel like this is a very strong team, and it can be a team that can go potentially very, very far. Even if Udai doesn't really pan out as well as he would like to, I feel like consistency will be covered by Thor and Men until he probably gets into the swing of things. So, which is like, pretty strong. Alright, we're gonna go to the red team. A lot of people's favorites team. did amazing in 2DX, did extremely poorly in Sound Voltex. Will this be any different? We're talking about Team Round 1. They yeah, they obviously went for some pretty like strong picks out of the gate. They picked the most famous and most like strongest DDR player in Japan against GiGO, Oshima, and they won the I would say the luck of the draw for that one. So yeah, the DDR Oshima is the first draft. The second draft is Zero, the assassin from Sendai, and the visitor from the DP world, Henri. I would say the challenge. His title is actually the challenger from the DP world, Henri. So yeah, this is just by the names alone, this is a very strong team already. Oshima needs no introduction. Champion of the KC, champion of the first KC. Still basically basically confirmed finalist for the DDR KC all the time. Zero Wolf is, you might know him around the DDRA era as the guy who uploads videos of the songs first. You might know him as that, but he's on top of on top of playing that role in the DDR community around the Ace era, he is extremely good and I would say he's like a definite second rounder that only round 1 selected actually, which is pretty interesting. So, and yeah, the third player is actually the one that I didn't really know much, and actually I'm pretty confused to why they selected, but it's Henri. Henri is known in the community as a guy who mainly plays DP. It's not really like a case of Exit though, where he's the best DP player in Japan. Exit in 2DX is like the best DP player in Japan. He's just a pretty consistent DP player who occasionally plays SP at a pretty high level, and yeah. He was selected third in round 1. I've seen some of his scores and I wasn't particularly sure of his high level ability, but Oshima and Zero himself is already having Oshima and Zero in the same team is already, I would say, a really, really big deal. So yeah, very, very quick summary, but I don't really know what else I can say about the team other than yes, having Oshima and Zero instantly makes them a very, very strong contender, and this team has potential to obviously reach semis and even finals, I would say. So yeah, what do you think, Hiko?
I'm actually gonna be like the devil advocate for this. It's either this team could like easily goes to semifinals, or this team is just gonna be screwed up big time, because one thing that really irks me seeing the pro scene of DDR is that the Japanese players in like the top ones sometimes doesn't really have this like straight consistency when playing on the big stage. I'm really afraid, especially for Oshima, because even though he's like a regular finalist for KAC, we saw him like fell off in certain song or certain stages, and I really hope his mental fortitude is strong this one, because I kind of afraid that even though he's like the strongest Japanese DDR player right now, I don't think he can really have that longevity of always scoring a point or scoring a win for round 1. I think it's not gonna be like worse than how round 1 performed on some Voltex, but if I were to be like Oshima, I would be concerned with that kind of consistency issue. As for Zero Wolf himself, yeah, he's recently very good in 17. He's already trying to break the 18 barriers and such. So he's a really nice backup in case Oshima did not perform well. As for Andre, yeah, it's strange that he's really excels on DP, but I don't have any like very great impression on him playing on singles. So yeah, let's hope he also performs well on this competition. Yeah, that's all that I criticize for this team. They may look very strong and could like easily steamroll their group, but yeah, anything can happen really.
True, true. This is something that we always consider too. Like Oshima, yeah, he's definitely the best DDR player, but you know, during the 10KC, he unfortunately he didn't have that many answers against Hibiki, and you know, unfortunately he didn't manage to win the KC against Hibiki, which was I think one of the reasons too. And you know, he streams particularly consistently on YouTube, and you know, I don't know whether it's because he's not focusing on like consistency, but I do notice what Hiko has said, but that you know, he could have a good run here, and he could have a pretty confusing run in the middle, and maybe it could be a bad run. But yeah, you know, this is BP, and you know, BPL is all about consistency. It's why GiGO Salvoltex team has reached the finals despite having like the lower end VF players within their team. Zero Wolf could be a good backup, could be a backup, but you know, it's something to definitely ponder about to see if round one could basically make it. I feel like they definitely could make the playoffs, but I don't know if they could win the entire thing because it's pretty hotly contested. How about you, Nextercise? Any opinion about this?
Indeed, yeah. I think like they have the means to like advance to the quarterfinals, semifinals, but again, yeah, it's really hard to actually win. Actually hard to win. One thing that I noticed is that they don't perform really well on lower level songs, to be honest.
That's true.
Even with like fully relying on Zero isn't gonna cut it, of course. So really it lies down to I don't know Oshima and Andre to actually practice on the lower level songs. They really have to do that because the early stages are like just 12 until 14. 17 at the most. So really, they have to actually practice on the lower level songs if they want to actually survive the.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Thanks for the input, Exercise. I do think that this is gonna be another thing that could be of concern. Oshima plays pretty much everything, but I would say that he doesn't MFC as often as we actually think he does, and you know, these BPL is gonna be full of players who are gonna be able to do that pretty consistently with like you know people like maybe Yoshi, yeah, people like maybe Men or something like that. You know, we could see potential upsets even. It's definitely considerable. I'm personally very, very concerned about the selection of Henri for round one. Not to say that he's not a good player, it's just that, you know, I would say like it's a bit like Udai, in which I don't really know his credentials for SP enough. It's not really like Exit in 2DX2, where Exit is Exit is probably the best Japanese DP player and is proven to be a very, very good like SP player too. I don't really see the same thing for Henri, which is why I'm a bit worried if he can actually cover the bases. And, you know, he could potentially be a kind of a Bakoji type player who's also part of round 1 in season 2, you know. But, you know, obviously consistency is one thing, and, you know, we will probably see more of Henri's activities as the BPL rages on, and, you know, we probably will have a better assessment of his ability soon. So, you know, round 1. I think they'll make it. I don't know how far. I know they'll probably make it to playoffs. But yeah. And we're coming into the final team of today, which is Team Leisureland. Impressive run on 2DX. Unfortunately, cut short run in Soundvoltex. And, you know, I would say that on top of GiGO and TRADZ looking very, very strong in round 1 too, Leisureland is also looking extremely strong. This is a team that I believe has what it takes to, you know, reach very, very far. Another semi-final kind of like confirmed team, I would say. Maybe I'm saying too much right now, but you know, I just like this really team a lot. We're gonna begin with Marvaholic, Nayu, the dancing DDR fighter, Ringo, and the dark horse, the Dosanko dark horse, or the dark horse from Hokkaido, Yuki. This is like, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in the first draft, 4 teams picked Nayu, and Nayu went to Leisureland. So yes, this is gonna be obviously Nayu is considered one of the best, I would say, new gen players in Japan. He really started appearing around 820. He had like the server record for Orca for a very long time, until the Americans got A20. Yeah, and ever since that he's been working. He's been constantly working. He's very good. He's been searched for many teams, and he's been considered a pretty consistent player, I would say. So yeah, very solid first pick, and followed by that is Ringo. I would say this man is a KAC winner, and you know what he does not do? Hold the bar. Yes, he's probably going to be the only guy who goes full no bar on a high level DDR tournament like this. And yeah, it's very impressive to see him play no bar at such a high level. He said he can't really hold the bar due to prior injuries he had, because he said basically like some people just can't really hold the bar very well, because I know when I hold the bar I also feel a bit of pain on my wrist sometimes, because holding the bar is not very the best. But yeah, Ringo has never held the bar, and he has won a KAC. And yeah, he's still consistent to this day. I would say he can even play 19s with a very good score, no bar. So it's like, yeah, he's a very good second option. He almost went to APINA, but yeah, they lost the draw again, and Leisureland has taken Ringo. So Nayu and Ringo already a very solid looking team, and their supplemental player, relatively not that known, it's Yuki. I've seen his scores, and he seems to be another standard third drafter, a person who covers the low levels, and a person who can definitely cover the team when it's needed in the easier matches. Just a consistent, safe player, I would say. So yeah, I didn't do much research on Yuki initially, because I did not really notice. I didn't really know where to start searching for some of these players initially. But yeah, eventually found all of them, and yeah, Yuki is, I would say he's a really safe third pick for this team, and he covers anything that Nayu and Ringo couldn't play in the tournament. So yeah, I would say that this is a very strong team, and who has the potential to even win all the way. Like, they definitely could make the quarterfinals without any trouble. And yeah, I wonder what you two feel. What about you, Hiko?
I have no doubts with Nayu, actually, contrary to the other top player, because like so many teams really want him on their own team, and luckily Leisureland wins the lottery and getting them. So he's a really nice captain for this team. As for Ringo, unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, he do have an injury, like kind of like a permanent injury that really prevents him to using the bar. So if he could somehow turn it around to like being his own playstyle, like a no bar, and actually
it's very impressive. He can MFC like 12s no bars, like that. He's that good. So yeah, well, yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
It could. I hope that injury does not really making any demerits for him, because remember that this is a season-long competition. I really don't know how the taping's gonna work, so I really hope that this permanent injury Ringo has doesn't really make him fell down or something, and he could actually turn it around to some kind of like advantages or even a win for them. As for Yuki, once again, I'm not really hearing much about him, but if Leisureland is really confident with his achievement and such, then I entrusted them with this kind of lineup, and I hope they have a really cool fighting chances, like GiGO, Silk Hat, and round one. And once again, consistency also the key. So yeah, really hope they could fight well.
To correct you on Ringo, though, he's had this injury for like a very long time, and he's played DDR no bar for like, I would say, the longest time. Though the KC where he won, he also played no bar, which is insane if you think about it. He won basically the top tournament where they haven't really balanced the song picks, playing no bar. So I was very like impressed with like his ability, and he's still only getting better. He can he can 950 19s no bar, which is like, how do you do that? I can't even play it. I can't even FC a 10 without falling down, falling down on my ass or breaking my nose. Playing no bar, but yeah. Yeah, Nextercise. I think we both are very, very confident about this team. Do you feel confident about Leisureland?
Yes and no. To be honest, I feel a bit different about Ringo. His lower levels aren't really proven.
Really, I thought it was. Really, I thought it was.
I'm saying his recent like sports he's actually like only grinding like 16 and 16 and above, and his recent 15 his recent like 15 and lower songs are going hypersonic with like with 10 perfects or with
I guess not the most stellar because going hypersonic
yeah
is really the hardest song.
Yeah, he really has to like catch up on the lower level songs in maybe like in one point where like Nayu and Yuki cannot play on the lower levels. He has to actually perform well. Yeah, so I'm really hopeful, but again, Ringo has jobs to do.
Definitely, yeah, he has definitely. I think the biggest concern is just I would say Yuki has the low levels covered, but Nayu, I would say he has the ability to play all kinds of levels, even though he is known for high levels and such, because he has like MFCs on a lot of 16s too, which is a very, very high tier achievement that I would say a lot of the players in this draft do not really have. So I think Nayu's not a problem, but yeah, I guess I was overestimating Ringo's scoring ability a bit. He definitely can play any single level, but I guess time will tell if the matches that he's gonna be put up against is gonna bear any fruits, and hopefully he can address that thing, because as Nextercise described, he had 10 perfects on Going Hypersonic, and I don't think Going Hypersonic is a very hard song. It's a song that a lot of this draft class can probably SDP single digit perfect. So yeah, maybe I was overestimating this team, but definitely having Nayu and Yuki is very, very good. So Ringo definitely, not saying that Ringo is bad. It's just like Well, I guess that's covers our analysis. We went for 1 hour 30, almost 1 hour 30 minutes here. Pretty impressive. And yeah, they also did reveal the theme songs. It wasn't shown here, but yeah, I can name it off the top of my head. I actually had to check for it. So for APINA and an interesting note, all the theme songs are from artists who contribute to the DDR Golden League. So interesting that they got back everyone from there. So APINA VRAMeS, their theme song is Smash by Wakami.
Shit.
Oh. Are you okay, Hiko?
Yep. Just
no worries. Yeah.
Something's wrong with my chair. Sorry.
Wow, I say Smash and his chair falls apart.
It's okay. Carry on, my.
All right. Yep. Yeah. So Smash by Wakami is APINA VRAMeS' theme song. The theme song for GiGO is Drive Away by Tanukichi. The theme song for Game Panic is Glow the Crown by DJ Shimamura. The theme song for Silk Hat is Aria by ZXNX or Zuna. We got some Indonesian representation here. I'm kidding, yeah.
Indo Pride.
Indo Pride. Indo Pride. Hashtag Indo Pride. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me digress. Supernova Tohoku's team is Abrupt Madness by Mami Yutofu. Taito Station TRADZ's theme song is Complete Game Victory by Dumbadub. Round 1's theme song is Rise as One by Relect. And Leisureland's theme song is Chromatic Blitz by Jakazin. Jakazin, man, holy shit. Do you guys like the theme songs that they showed? I think they're all like pretty good. It's all like pretty.
I really hoped I could hear the full version of it. So, but yeah, so far I really like all of them. So I can't wait to play them on arcade, and I hope it's since we don't have gold caps in here. I hope they also add it to the the white caps.
I think they know that the gold cap. I think they know that the gold caps are only Japan, so they probably won't do something like that. You like any theme songs, Exercise?
Yeah, I really like all the songs, but one thing that I noticed is Game Panic's theme,
Yeah, Golden
they
Crown.
like I don't know like this like the style of the song is really consistent across all like 2DX, Soul Voltex, and DDR as well. I don't know how, but somehow they managed to actually get the genre like
They
consistent.
get hard style all the time, right?
Yeah, indeed.
They get hard
That's
style all
what
the
they're-
time. Yuta Imai for 2DX it's Yuta Imai, for Sound Voltex it's Ryuki, and now they get DJ Shimamura, who does a bit of that too.
Yeah, right.
Any
Also
favorites?
interesting that round one always has one in this in the title. Is there
Except the
round
Sound
one?
Voltex one, except the Sound Voltex one. But yeah, if the songs were especially created for the team, it's like one. In Sound Voltex, no, in 2DX it was one for all, and then now it's Rise as one. So yeah, I mean, like, I guess we can probably, yeah, it was, I think, yeah, those theme songs will be playable in DDR right in the BPL ends. But I hope we probably will see some of the DJs performing, some of the DJs here performing. I don't know about all the DJs. Imagine if they bring Flyover ZXNX to perform a set here, it's like crazy. But like,
Let's go.
but yeah, let's go.
go.
No try, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
Really want the Silk Hat theme song. Maybe if they could somehow change it into like a system BGM for a while, that will be very
Yeah,
real,
yeah,
like the
system
2DX,
BGM.
right?
Yeah, system BGM for like 2DX, but I don't think DDR has that feature, unfortunately, unless they want to do something new for that. But yeah, I guess we can probably conclude with this, and I would say that my personal pick to win is obviously, I hope APINA Frames does well. They're my favorite team
Mm-hmm.
from since the 2DX days, and I would say I don't know about their chances, but I do think that they have a better team than what people probably feel that they have. We were a bit concerned initially when Mamoru was selected, and then in the second part, and then in the second draft, they kept losing all their picks. They lost Ringo, and then they lost Thor. Then eventually they got Naughty, which is, I would say, like, wow, I completely forgot that Naughty was still here. Yeah, I completely forgot that Naughty was still here. Then when we saw Naughty, like, oh, okay, no problem, no problem. I hope APINA wins, but my personal money on this tournament, I would say, I do like GiGO's chances in this tournament. I don't know who's gonna win. It's still way too early to even make any educated guesses, but yeah, I would say money's on GiGO right now. What about you, Hiko?
I'm torn between, I guess, GiGO or Silk Hat, because I think they really have that balanced, cohesive of a team. Really not have like a really huge hopes for round one and Leisureland, but I think they have like a great fighting chances for it. So yeah, well, at the end of the day, may the best team win, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to see the matches because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be really, really nice to see. Nextercise, any favorite teams? Any guesses on who you would win?
I would say like aside from my bias, if you even talking about my bias, I would say I prefer a Silk Hat, but seeing what but from the player list, I guess Taito would have the highest chance. Although all these 8 teams has like kind of equal opportunities, but I think Taito Station TRADZ has the highest chance by a bit. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes in the matches. I really look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, I guess everything's locked in. We have our own guesses. I know Hiko is also the APINA VRAMeS fan, so I won't really ask him on his favorite personal bias. So it's gonna be like APINA Silk Hat for bias, and then for our own picks it will be Gigo plus Silk Hat, and then TRADZ. So yeah, I think we've talked for long enough. We actually almost reached 90 minutes. That's really crazy how we can do this. But yeah, the BPL has always been such a fun thing to discuss. We never, sometimes things that we don't expect to happen. And yeah, if the DDR one is really successful, we possibly can see a lot more content. And I hope it's successful because DDR is probably the game with the biggest like mainstream appeal. I think it's also the most fun to watch. 2DX I would say is more fun to watch if you're into the technical side. Sound Vortex is just if you really like seeing flashy things on the screen. I'm not saying that that's the only thing at stake here, but yeah. But like, you know, there's a lot of techniques to it, Sound Vortex, but I would say that people have the most fun watching it on DDR, and I think we all can agree what one thing we want to see in the BPL DDR BPL. God, other way around. But yeah, I know what is the one thing that we can agree we want to see. Maxwell Powers as the consistent MC for this thing. Am I right?
Yeah, really looking forward for his MC
Yeah.
skill. I mean, it's a really great decision for Konami bringing him for this division, because he kind of has like the appeal for the foreign audiences too. So yeah, props to Konami for this
Yeah,
one.
they really picked a good one. You like Maxwell Powers too, Nextercise?
Yeah, indeed. He's a really good like MC. He's like, I think he's always like he's always like research a bit about what he's going to actually say. So yeah, I really like how they picked him for the
I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good that they have both, because you know Maxwell Powers can speak Japanese, so he can just, and then if they have Gaho as the second co-host, he can literally just draw knowledge from Gaho and then express it to the American fans, because Gaho usually has the right idea about things. So you know, he won't really make anything misinformed. He won't really make too many misinformed takes, despite not really being a player in the scene. You know, same with like Moriicho and the co-host who's a player. Like 2DX it will be Moriicho and like Madoka and Tanmen, and then in like Sambotex it will be Moriicho and Setsuo. Setsuo is a VF20 in Sambotex, so you know he'll always give like more informed text.
He's way better than me.
He's way better than all of us. He
Not
makes
all.
songs, he voice acts, and he's also like almost VF21. So
Yeah,
all right. I think we've probably talked about too long. I'm very excited to see what's happening, and you know, I hope this is the BPL that you know succeeds really well in gaining the audience too, because season 3 is already being planned and it looks pretty big. Anyways, I guess we can probably wave out. We can just I'm just gonna click stop recording because it's not a live stream. But yeah, all right. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. I hope you will continue to watch the coverage. You can probably see these two knuckleheads in my stream sometime. Yeah. and yeah. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you will continue to view the BPL through us, and you know, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Maybe you know someone might answer a question, or or it might only be me pulling up to answer comments. So yeah, all right, we can probably wave out to the audience right now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Have a good night. Stay safe.